Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 292 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. The Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association is all about supporting and connecting local artists, musicians, and creators right here in north central Iowa. Head over to fdfineartsassociation.org to find their community calendar packed with upcoming concerts, art shows, theater events, and more. While you're there, check out their podcast, FDT. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts. That's the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association, celebrating creativity and community in the Fort Dodge area. This week, I'm sitting down with Justin Cramer. I met Justin at a jam night, and as it goes, that's the way the story almost always goes. Met this person playing music, go figure. I've always kind of thought Justin was an interesting musician. He plays a little bit of everything, and he does it pretty well. And then as I kind of got to know him, he's kind of a jack of all trades. I like the style that he brings because there's a lot of people that are kind of DIY people, but he kind of takes it to the extreme, and I love that about him. I learned a lot about him in this episode. I hope you guys love this one. This is Justin Cramer, episode number 292.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
I'm sitting down with Justin Cramer. Justin, I ran into you at a jam night. I've played a few songs and stuff at jam nights with you, but that's about all I know.
Yeah.
The craziest thing was sitting down talking with Clint Wheelman. I'd played shows with him forever. Mm-hmm. We were in a band in high school together and stuff. And when he graduated, he went to Iowa Central and met you.
Yeah.
So he's known you for ever.
Yeah.
But it's one of those weird, if I was just a year older and things would be just a little bit different and I would have known you for 20 years, but I don't.
Right. So he had started his freshman year, and I think it was the second time that I went back. And the other friend of mine, you've seen him at jam night, Zach, the guy with the long hair. He brought a guitar.
Yeah. Oh, love it.
Guitar guy. So we met him, and we had always kind of tried to start a band in high school, and it never really took off. So we had him and I as a constant. We had another friend who ended up leaving and becoming Mormon and starting a life somewhere else. And so we were just kind of kicking around, not sure what we wanted to do. Even though we were in college, we had no real goal. Mm-hmm. So we would play with Clint, and Matt Reitz is probably somebody that other people know from the Fort Dodge area.
Okay.
He wanted to do a song, and he needed backing guys. So we all kind of got together, and to this day, I remember it was Smoke Rings in the Dark that he wanted to be able to play. So we played it together, and we'd sit there and we'd jam on Led Zeppelin stuff.
Okay.
And I love Clint. Clint's one of my favorite people. Every time I see him, I just get excited.
Yeah, it's weird because he's not super talkative.
Right.
But I absolutely love having him around. Yeah. And when you get him to start talking, perfect.
Yeah, he digs everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so funny. He's got long hair. He plays in heavy metal bands and punk bands and all this other stuff. He's cruising around in his van, literally with 50s and 60s stuff just cranked.
Yeah.
And it's this is wild.
He is a one in a million kind of person.
Absolutely.
You just don't find people like that.
And he looks exactly the same as he always has.
He doesn't change at all. And that's what I love too. Because I saw the video, or one of the videos of pictures of us playing, and I'm like, Jesus, I don't look the same as I did, but he does.
Yeah, I don't either.
Tell me your secrets.
Yeah, I used to have hair. Yeah, that guy's he's a wizard of sorts.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was kind of crazy. He came to one of the jams in Fort Dodge because he used to travel from Des Moines. I mean, he still does to come to the jams sometimes, but he used to come to a lot of jams up in this area. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I know that guy. I went to college with that guy. And I was like, no way. And then that was, I think, it was probably a couple of years ago when he started coming. And that's when he was like, oh, hey, you remember?
And he's been coming pretty much every jam.
When he's not on tour.
Yeah. So who is he playing with?
He plays with the Rumors. It's a 2 female fronted band and Clint in the back playing drums. And it is electric. You're thinking to yourself okay, it's gals in Daisy Dukes and bikini tops. They're great.
Yeah,
it's so fun to watch them.
I don't doubt it. I mean, Slim Jim Phantom, from the Stray Cats. He's played at the who the Stray Cats are. Brian Setzer.
That name, yes.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So he was the drummer in the Stray Cats. They were just a 3-piece.
Okay.
He'll play at the Surf Ballroom, and his girlfriend, wife, I'm not sure what she is. She has her own band.
Okay.
And because she was playing with him, but the last couple of years, it's like the Midnight Cowgirls or something.
Okay.
And it's actually really good.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it's, I grew up in a time where, the Donnas were a thing.
Yep.
So, the Runaways, Joan Jett.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I know they can do it.
Yeah, it makes me even think like Heart and things like that. Like people, like it's so fun to just be like, Heart's not my favorite, but it's like that is such good music.
I once
What about love?
I had an old man that we were training at the job that I do. He didn't end up working out, but a Heart song was on the radio, and he's like, "Man, she sings out of tune." I was like, "Get out of my vehicle." Ann Wilson is the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean Fleetwood Mac. You could just go down the list and just be like, women can rock too.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's just one of those things. You just go on the internet nowadays and you're like, this is just for publicity. But you go and watch them live. Nothing's doctored.
Right.
They're playing their own instruments.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the best stage shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
High energy. So.
And I've always liked bands like the Go-Go's and the Bangles.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Susanna Hoffs.
Is it Bangles?
The Bangles.
Bangles.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Okay, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we need to talk about you more in this.
Yeah,
this
okay, that's fine.
This is about you.
I'm easy to get off track.
Where are you from originally?
I am from Webster City, and that is currently where I live.
Okay.
Yep. And I lived in Pomeroy for 10 years. That's where my wife is from.
Oh, cool.
But I've always had, Fort Dodge is sort of like the nucleus of most of my activity.
Mm-hmm.
And the band we started in college, Zach and I, was with Russell Weller, Jeff Koons, Andrea Heitner, and Marcus Anderson.
Okay.
And that was the Joker's Wild.
Okay.
For some reason, I had a brain fart there.
Yeah, okay.
But so we played, I think, for like 2 or 3 years, almost every weekend, consistently, all over the place. We were the house band at Spanky's, which is now Eagles Landing.
Yep.
We were the house band at the Brickyard, which was the Maid-Rite, which is that Mexican restaurant on 5th Avenue South.
Yep.
So, we were even considered as a house band for Pee-wee's.
Cool.
When that was still open.
Yep.
So that was my first real taste of being an active musician.
Mm-hmm.
So, and from there, I went and I played with Kyle Versteeg.
Okay.
The plastic surgeon.
Yep.
Him and his wife. And Zach was in that too. That was Mud Jug. That was the blues band.
Yep. Okay.
And I've played with Matt and Val Kittleson out of near Manson.
Okay.
And that I was in 2 different bands with them. It was kind of the same people. Sweet and Lowdown and Dirt Road Experience, which ended up changing its name because of the name.
It's so wild because
I've been around.
I've heard all these band names.
Yeah.
People talk about them. So you've been around playing shows, but this is like possibly before I was like really in the scene.
Yeah, and I was in vinyl too for a little while.
So how did this all start then? How do you what made you actually? Did you pick up a guitar first, or were you like a piano kid, or was it like I'm playing the trumpet?
It was guitar.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up listening to KIOA out of Des Moines, KGGO.
Yep.
So that was my dad's influence. The oldie stuff was my grandparents, his folks. I've even got influence as far flung as Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, progressive rock, yes, ELP. Mm-hmm. And my mom was kind of more like the pop stuff of the 70s and 80s.
All right.
So, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty well versed in a lot of it. So being able to just jump in with a band that does classic rock, even some country stuff and the 50s and 60s stuff, it's almost like second nature to me. And it can be a challenge because with Richie, we'll back people. Mm-hmm. People that we might never have played with. Oh, and so there's their set list that we have to learn. And we usually get a month or 2 to kind of go through them. Like we just got done playing at the Surf behind Johnny of Santo and Johnny, the song Sleepwalk.
Okay.
That plays in the movie La Bamba.
Oh, okay.
After the plane crash, that slide guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. We played a set with him because it was the first time he had been back in Iowa since... I want to say like the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we've played
That's
a lot of
That's like 60 years.
Yeah, we played a lot of the ballrooms and stuff, and it's always nerve-wracking. A story of the first time I had to play behind a Elvis impersonator.
Oh.
So this was like live from Hawaii Elvis.
Okay.
So his like Las Vegas stuff. So high-powered, fast. All the songs were faster than the recordings, and I had to play drums. And the drummer he had with him at that time was just an animal. and he recently died within the last couple of years. But that guy was also somebody who liked to mess with you.
Okay.
So you'd follow his cue to end the song, and he would just do those things and just fake me out constantly. And I was already nervous as it was because it was really the first time that I'd ever had a task like that. Because this guy who played on those songs live, double bass drum. I'm not a double bass drum player.
Okay.
So that was just never one of my things. And oh God, it made me so nervous. So then the next few times we played with him, I ended up playing the guitar instead. So, and if you know anything about his guitar player, Elvis's guitar player in the 70s was James Burton.
Okay.
And he's a chicken picker.
Okay.
So a lot of that stuff was, you kind of have to fake it.
Yeah.
If you can't do it.
I would.
And you know what? He kept asking us to come back. And at one point, we ended up doing like a Del Shannon impersonator, the song Runaway. We back a female vocalist who will go to Riverside Casino, and that's a bunch of 60s girl group kind of stuff. We never get to do that normally because we don't have a girl in the band. We started off as a 4-piece in that band, and I was the drummer. And then we had a personnel shift, and I went to guitar. We had a different drummer. And then we had another personnel shift, and then we were down to 3 people, so I just started playing bass.
Yeah, I've seen
and
that.
I had done the same thing in the band Road Hard.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar.
I've heard the name, but
Okay, that was John Bowman and Mitch Nordine.
Okay, yeah.
And we played at A-Bait a couple of years. We've done a lot of things there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dude,
I mean,
this is. I know you as a guitar player.
Right.
I've seen you play bass, and one of my favorite things was like the first time I saw you play bass, I said, this isn't a guitarist just playing the bass to fill in the spot. You actually can play the bass like a bass player plays the bass.
I started on guitar, but I learned bass and drums concurrently. So kind of at the same time, you just throw on a pair of headphones and learn.
Yeah. You just have to have a space to set up a drum set.
And, I grew up, my main inspiration for music was always the Beatles.
Okay.
And then it just kind of branched from there because, like I said, I like a whole bunch of different kinds of music. And I grew up in the early 2000s, so there was, anything alternative that was on the radio. I was listening to that then. Nirvana, Soundgarden, everything.
Yeah.
So I enjoy playing all of that stuff.
And
that jam night's kind of become my only outlet for it. So if I try to bring in at least one song every time I do it.
Yeah,
that
it's always different.
That you don't hear at jam night.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm one of this is the song I know I can play, so I play one song every time.
And I have no problem. and after years of going to jam night, I'd been going since Chris Carr was doing them, even with the old Hayloft. And stuff. Wow. So I had gone wherever he had his jam, and then he quit doing it, and Jeremy took it over. And since then, I've been going as much as I can. So it's something that if I don't have the outlet to be able to do those songs with Richie, that's where I do it.
Oh, okay. Because that's your current band that you're in.
Right.
All the other ones I've kind of just gone by the wayside at one point or another.
I've been playing with him for 8 years.
8 years,
and that's all the bars and everything kind of get to be a drag after a while. You're not sure who's paying attention at times. And everybody wants to hear Freebird. And we did play in Joker's Wild. We did play Freebird, so I had to do that. And it does wear on you after a while when you play that to end every show.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you'd have to play it to end the show, because if you played it halfway through, someone would yell it out an hour later and be like, "Well, Freebird!" It's like, we just did it.
Did it in that band. We did it in Joker's Wild. Yeah. And then Road Hard, we did it in that one too.
Wow.
And, there's only so much Freebird you can take.
It's true, yeah. I mean, there's a handful of those songs that you play, like the country one is Wagon Wheel. That's the one where everyone's like, I can only,
and that's
whatever.
That's more of a modern song, though, too.
Yeah. I mean, it was like an older song, I think, first that Darius Rucker that was like his deal.
That's right.
I think that's right. Don't quote me on. I'm not the country aficionado that I might claim to be, but
we've always kind of had a list of songs like that, like "Sweet Home Alabama."
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's 2 Skynyrd songs on there. Tiny Dancer.
Okay. Whoa.
Well, just ones that are probably on the radio more than they should be.
Yeah.
It seems like every time you turn it on, it's there.
Yeah.
So you just kind of get burned out by it. I mean, there's certain classic rock songs like staples that you'll always hear that do get overplayed.
Yeah. Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking about stuff.
You know what? That is the only song of theirs that I can truly stand. I don't really like Welcome to the Jungle or Paradise City.
Okay.
Those were the two that I heard all the time. So it was a treat to hear Sweet Child of Mine.
Dude, Paradise City.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I had to hear that a lot. I feel like, because you're probably really close to my age. I don't know.
40.
Yeah, so I'm like 30, whatever, 38, 9, something like that. So we're really close to the same age.
Yeah.
But I feel like our generation, like right in our age, maybe 5 years on either side of us, was the last era that had the ability to... It's like they weren't making stuff fast enough for us to get bored with it. So we could go back in time and enjoy things.
Oh, yeah.
But now there's so much stuff being created so fast that you can't keep up with it. There's no monoculture anymore. There's none of that, you know?
Well, and, like AI.
Gosh.
What's that going to end up doing to music?
Oof. Yeah. I don't know. Did you see that post not terribly long ago? People were talking about like AI posters for shows. And it's like, man, even that's starting to get to be a little bit of a drag.
Right. I mean, you just lose all the human creativity out of it when you start doing that.
I feel like AI is okay as long as there's human intervention
Right.
before and after it.
Well, whatever's left of these record companies, they would jump on AI because it's all about that. It's not about the soul of the artist or anything like that. I mean, you would never have like a Proud Mary or anything like that John Fogerty put out if it was AI.
True.
No, you wouldn't have those songs that have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I recently watched a Rick Beato video.
I love Rick.
I love and hate watching his stuff pops up so much, but it's so good. And
he's smart too.
Yeah, and
he's
very
smart.
I want to just be like, but like, dude, he knows so much. He was talking about the music industry recently and like how it all worked out and why musicians kind of like bands just disappeared because they couldn't, split all the money anymore and there just wasn't money left.
Right. Well, and I particularly liked his interview with Andy Summers, Sting, and Stuart Copeland. The Police.
Okay.
He did them all individually.
Oh, wow.
Stuart Copeland as a drummer is probably, as far as living drummers go, my favorite. Just if you ever get a chance to watch an interview of his, I mean, you ask one question. It's kind of like me. You ask the question, and he'll go on for half an hour about the answer.
I think I'm going to check that one out.
And he's really animated, too.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, okay, so we're going to come back to, like, what was your inspiration to play music? Did you see, like, Chris Carr doing it once, and you're like, I got to do this?
No,
or was it just...
when I started playing, I didn't know Chris Carr. I was in middle school when I started playing.
Okay.
And it was solely just the Beatles. The first song I ever played in front of anybody, I didn't sing, was Yellow Submarine. I just strummed it.
That's fun.
And that was at a church thing outside. Yeah, and I was nervous as hell.
Oh, man. I've long since said church things are the best place to go if you're going to play your first stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of like built in nice at church. They have to be.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be like, boo at a church.
Right.
Good stuff.
Right.
I love that.
And, I played guitar for like Sunday Mass and stuff. So... I mean, it wasn't my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I played in a church band for a couple of years too.
Yeah.
It was fun, but
it was just me and acoustic, and I think they had some younger kids singing and then the piano player. So it was
yeah.
I'm more of a rock and roll kind of person.
Yeah, definitely. So like at what point in time, because we've talked about this a little bit off camera, but at one point in time, because you said you were nervous as I would say nervous as hell, but you were at a church. But anyways, you were very nervous and you were at a church playing music for the first time. At what point in time were you comfortable enough to go somewhere else and play music? Like try and join a band or something like that? I
mean, I guess that would be the drive to do it. So I got bored of being just by myself. So I recruited, Zach's one of them, a couple of friends, and I actually taught them. Oh. So I wouldn't be by myself.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, I don't know if it happened to you, but at some point in the 90s, they were selling those guitar and amp combos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Squire Strat.
The starter packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody was getting guitars that I went to school with, but nobody that I really felt like I wanted to play with.
Yeah.
And it seemed like all within a year or so, they'd all given it up.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, yeah, that's the thing. It was the thing to do at that time because it was just so easy to get a Squire and a little amp. And then they realized how hard it was and that they had to stick with it. That's just kind of what made them fall off. So at that point, the only people that I knew were like hardcore Nirvana. And then like, So I didn't start to appreciate Nirvana until later.
Oh, yeah. I was the whole grunge genre, same way with me.
Right.
I was like deep in my 20s where I was finally like, oh,
yeah.
I get it.
I started listening to it all, and I'm like, I get it.
You're wearing flannel in here. It's funny to say you're not in Nirvana.
Yeah. And I enjoy it now.
Yeah.
It's just because my interests at that point lied much earlier in music. So I just had to kind of go with what I felt I wanted to do. And, I got a couple of friends who were interested. Oh, and then Weezer.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I discovered Weezer, too.
Okay.
When we started doing the band thing. So the Green album had just come out. I didn't know about Weezer before that. So then I discovered the Blue album and Pinkerton.
Yep.
And I just went from there. And that really kind of got, the wheels turning even more. And we did something small for Zach's sister. She was raising money. I think it was to go to D.C.
Okay.
So we had a little benefit to help raise the money for it. And we played some stuff, and it was terrible. But, and it was at that time that I realized, too, that if we were going to do this band, it was going to be either me or my friend Chad who was going to have to do the singing. Zach was never really whipped on wanting to sing. I mean, even though he's kind of worked on it over time, I realized that I was going to have to do it. And I've always been critical of my voice.
Yeah.
At jam night.
I feel that.
Yeah. Like
That's why I sing one song.
Right.
Because I know I can sing it.
And, I try. And it's different when you're doing it at home, playing along, making sure, okay, I can do this. And then you get up there, it can be loud.
Yep.
And you feel like you have to push harder. And that's when your voice chokes out.
Yep.
Especially at jam night in that room. It's not the best room. It was never the best room, but it's what we have and it's what we love. So that's kind of how that goes.
That's music, baby.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the rock room.
Yep.
That was more suited for that.
Yeah.
Because when we did the Joker's Wild thing there, that we always had a problem with volume. Because it's just a small confined space with low ceilings.
Yep.
But anyway, back to that. Yeah, I had to teach Zach how to play bass, and I taught my friend Chad how to play guitar. And then we had a drummer, and then we didn't. Drummers were hard to come by back then.
It's still hard to come by.
And then we thought about trying to do original stuff. The drummer would write words, and then he would sing. And I'd come up with the chords, and I'm like, "Oh, this is all right. What are those words you're singing?" And they were always something depressing. Because at the time, I don't want to say it was the beginning of what is that? Emo.
Emo.
And I'm like, oh, well, I never would have thought that this was the song we were doing, but I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that didn't end up working out. We did a couple of things here and there, very small things. Our thing was always trying to figure out how to get equipment and how like a PA worked and all that stuff. So what we did was we bought one of those powered PA heads, one of the crate ones back when crate was still a thing from Fort Dodge Music. And then we went to the pawn shop and we bought stereo speakers. Didn't know anything. Didn't know about impedance matching and anything.
Yeah.
So we had these brackets made for the back of these Techniques, like from the 80s, like the big ones.
Yeah.
We had a bracket made for it. Zach's dad made that. And so we just ran 2 wires into the little, push down, stick in things.
Yep.
And that was our PA. We found out that does not work. It did for a while, but it ended up blowing up that PA head. The impedance
was mismatched.
Yep.
Okay. Because I'll tell you what, if you're going to impedance mismatch, you don't know what we're talking about. It's like the output of an amp is different than the ohms of the speaker. You're either going to blow the speaker or the amp, depending on which one is mismatched.
So for those who watch this and aren't savvy, if you have a cabinet that's 8 ohms and your head wants 4 ohms, you're okay. Because as long as your cabinet is higher in a rating than the head. But if you have like a 2 ohm cabinet with a 4 ohm head or something, you're going to blow up your amp.
Yes, because your amp is thinking there's going to be more resistance and there's not.
Right.
That's what it is. So it's pushing harder than it.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
And it will just fry it.
I always thought of it like a faucet.
Yeah.
Like it's just like now you're just blowing the pipe out.
Well, it's funny when musicians become people who work on electronics and stuff. It's a different thing altogether, but I'd always been interested in electricity and how it works. So I would tear things apart, not know how to put them back together.
Oh, yeah.
Tear something else apart, kind of look at it, okay. So it started with like electric motors and stuff. I mean, I was different than everybody else. Everybody else was outside playing basketball and stuff, and here I'm trying to figure out how things work. But yeah, we did that with the band, and then nothing really till college. So we didn't actually have any shows as a high school band. If you know Blake Erickson.
Nope.
Okay. He was probably the only band in town, the band that he had at the time.
Okay.
So college, once that started, that became real. it turned into a real experience. Okay, we're booking shows, we're making actual money for the first time.
Yeah.
And so what we did as a band in order to build our equipment is, luckily we all had jobs also. So we took the money that we'd make from the shows and we just reinvested into the band.
Booyah, businessman.
Yeah, Marcus.
I love that.
Our drummer was a little bit older than us and had a credit card. So he would buy it all. We'd give him the money. He'd pay off his card.
Yep.
So that's how we ended up getting our mains, our subs, our monitors, everything, mic cables, because we had none of that to start out with. And then we bought a trailer. And I use that word very loosely. It was the back half of a 67 Ford delivery van. We had to make sure that the taillights and everything worked, and we used that thing. We used it until we were done with that band. And Marcus ended up with it. And then from there on, 2 guys left Joker's Wild, and so it was just Zach, Marcus, and I. And then we hooked up with Blake Erickson and at that time, his wife, Shelly. You know Shelly.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was vinyl. I had some personal things come up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I dropped out for a couple of years.
I think I know who Blake is now. Yeah, I that's the thing. There's enough musicians in the area where you probably don't know them all.
Right.
You know, it's crazy to think that like Webster City's got a bunch of musicians I probably never met before. You know,
there's a couple, and there's if I don't know if you know anybody over there.
Not really.
Mike Hansen, he has a studio in his basement basically, and he's done some things for other people. And we used to play music in the park in Webster City. So this is a shout out to you, Mike. I'll have to tell you about this, but he would bring the PA. Oh, and cool. So that was kind of a thing with me and him because it ended up being a band that I was in at the time. Because at times I was in more than one simultaneously.
Yep.
So trying to keep things, different each month, I would try to get a different band that I was in to go, just so they'd have something for their music in the park. Because it didn't seem like anybody else was signing up or wanting to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So
you were talking about like teaching your buddies how to play music, just so you weren't alone playing music. Did you ever give guitar lessons or anything like that?
I tried. I'm not that patient of a person when it comes to teaching. I've tried to teach my son. And when it came down to it, he's just like, I kind of want to. I'm like, oh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
He's like being all artistic about it. And in a way, I'm like, so he'd come downstairs and he would just have his electric guitar unplugged. And then he'd go, do, 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 the riff from Buddy Holly by Weezer.
Okay.
And he would just do that every time he came downstairs. And I'm like, learn some chords. You got to start somewhere. You got to learn your chords. You can build from there. So I tried to teach somebody who was probably not old enough to really learn. And, I did what my first guitar teacher, Rod Lehman, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's actually Shelley's brother-in-law.
Oh, wow. Jeez, it's a small world out there, everybody.
Yeah. So he used to live in Webster City, and he was the first one to give me my guitar lessons. And then,
cool.
And then Phil Smith was from there.
Okay.
And Phil was more of a, what do you want to learn today kind of guy.
Okay.
And I appreciated that. I mean, there was all these people that you'll read about and stuff that went through like the right way, learned how to read notation and stuff like that. The guys that are in jazz guitar would understand all that.
Yeah, scales, then modes, and then arpeggios, and then just
but he taught me a lot of CCR.
Cool.
And I kind of just went from there, because at that point there's still no YouTube. So you did just kind of have to learn it for yourself. So you really had to like watch like videos of bands live, and if you caught a glimpse of like a hand on the guitar neck, you're just like, okay, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, there's an F chord in here somewhere, so we've got to be in one of these keys.
Yeah. Did you ever have any of those VHS tapes? The guitar.
Oh, teach you how to play guitar. VHS. Yeah, I had one.
Like, there's this guy who made them for a bunch of different bands. So they were like, and I think he made other generic ones too. It was this like hard rock guy from the 80s.
Okay.
I don't know when these were all recorded.
Yeah.
Long hair and like a beard and stuff, and he's just like dopey as all hell. The Beatles one, he just has this crazy laugh in there, but he was showing like people what a fuzz pedal was.
Yeah.
And he's like, see, this was before they had like a jack on both ends. This one has a cable hardwired to it.
Yeah.
And it takes D cells. And I'm like, wow. I'm learning all this stuff. And then, you get guitar books and stuff that kind of had tab in it.
Yep.
I was never really good at tab because you have to learn basically the metering of how it's supposed to come out.
Yes.
Otherwise, it just sounds like a mess.
Yeah, it's notes, and you have to, in your head, know what it sounds like in order to, yeah.
And some people are really good with that. I'd get Guitar Player or Guitar World, and they'd have like the 5 songs, and I'd try to like learn them that way, and I'm no good. So I just really had to rely on my ears and my eyes for what I saw when I watched videos of people playing. I mean, even to this day, there's little things that I'll pick up here and there. Like a lot of the Van Halen stuff that like Eddie was doing, like chord-wise, that is really common in a lot of 80s, 90s, and even modern music. Yeah, those little hammer-ons and stuff.
Yep.
Like I didn't realize that it transcended that much music.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost embarrassing when you learn new stuff, because I will admit that like in the last 4 or 5 years, I haven't really spent a lot of time trying to learn new things.
Right.
But when you watch somebody do something, you're like, oh, it's that easy. I mean, I'd have to sit down and practice it, but I had no idea it was that easy.
Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers.
Okay.
That was one of those things like dun, 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 dun. So that thing that they're doing in that guitar lick, that was the same. That's the Eddie Van Halen thing, where like Unchained and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's that same shape that they're doing in different, and you can use that throughout rock. And I'm just oblivious to that fact. It's kind of like a sustain kind of thing, like a D sus chord. You add that little extra note on there.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what you call it because I'm not that technical.
Dude, there's a lot of that stuff too, where it's like if I sat down with a piece of paper and stuff, I could tell you why this sounds good. But otherwise, I don't know why.
Right.
I just know that it does.
Well, I mean, Alex Lifeson from Rush he plays stuff. He doesn't know what to call it. Yeah. He's even admitted that when I can't remember what song it was, but he'll say, I don't know what this is. This is what I'm doing, though.
He has one of the craziest rock and roll Hall of Fame induction speeches of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody's never seen it, but he just go watch it. I'm not even going to ruin it. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like I still think about like bar chords where it's like, oh, this is how bar chords work. Is it really this easy? And then like it was years before I was like, can you make a C bar chord? And then you like look around and you're like, there's people making C bar chords all over the place. It's like,
and I've played music with people who, just use bar chords. Like they didn't learn the cowboy chords, just your basic G and C and D, and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm hanging out with people like, well, that's a minor fifth. I'm like, huh? So I'll have to have them kind of show me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know how to do that. I just didn't know what that was.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was called. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those too where it's like, this is a 7 chord, but you could also make it that way. And it's like, oh, well, I think this one sounds better. I'm going to use it that way now,
Because I've even had a drummer, while we're trying to learn something on the fly, go to the 5. Huh?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. I didn't hang out with the same people that you did. I had to do this all myself. So in that regard, my knowledge is limited as far as I just do the best that I can with what I've got. So,
dude, it's so tough too, because like if someone's like go to the 5, and like now that like the spacing and stuff, it's not always as hard to figure out where the 5 would be if the 1's here. But like I used to have to be like, okay, so I'm in minor, and this is 1, 2, do, re, mi, fa. So I used to have to like do that, and I'd be like, oh, this is the 5. But now like after you do it a bunch, eventually you're like,
are you a big pattern guy?
Yes.
When it comes, so am I.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a lot like you.
Yeah.
Like I'm like a dumbed down version of you. No offense to me, but like I watched a lot of people. That's how I figured stuff out.
Kirkhart said the same thing when we were in Sweet and Lowdown. He learned a lot from just watching me play, and I'm like, dude, I don't know everything, so I'm glad that you can like glean something from what I'm doing. But he said it opened up so much of the guitar and things that he didn't know just watching me, and I'm like, oh, there's so much more to learn.
Oh gosh, it's so crazy. I think about like the weird things. Like the first time I was doing a solo and I started down here and ended up here, and I was like, oh. I went diagonally down the neck now.
That's one of those things that you pick up and you're just like, how did I not know this before? It's just like these, I don't know, it's like driving through fog at night, and you just happen to take the right turn, It's kind of like that. Yeah,
you go back through in daylight and you're like, I didn't know there was a McDonald's here or whatever it is, Yeah, cool, this is sweet.
Because otherwise you just close your eyes and pray. Pray that you don't mess up.
Oh, man.
And then that's when it comes to like, not being aware of your value as a musician or not, because I don't know where to place myself.
Okay.
So that's why I always feel kind of inferior to a lot of people. But you don't know what they know. They don't, or they might not know what you know.
True.
Because there are people out there who are just in very different situations with their career in playing, and what they know, because that's one thing. Is not one book is going to tell you everything.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you listen to. Like if you learn something from Billy Gibbons playing the ZZ Top stuff, like Jesus Went to Chicago or Riding on a Bus.
Yep.
Those taught me some things.
Yeah.
Even Dark Sunglasses. That's probably one of my favorite ZZ Top songs.
Dude, I would have
learning stuff from those songs.
Yep.
And it might just be so insignificant to somebody else. Because they're like, oh, yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would have never picked that up.
Right.
I mean, do you think that the best way to learn is just to learn a bunch of different styles of music from a bunch of different people?
That's kind of what I've done, or kind of what I've had to do to be able to stay in a lot of these bands is like Sweet and Lowdown would play a mix of... I'll put it this way. I'd always been kind of like the leader at like picking a lot of the songs. Because I would know bits of songs enough to get people to be like, yeah, we should play that song.
Yeah.
So I would do, we were like, what else should we do? Like, oh, let's do that song.
Yeah.
So I knew enough of just a bunch of different songs, and then it would force me to go and learn the rest of
the song.
Right.
Classic.
So, we did Wheel in the Sky by Journey.
Whoa.
In that band, and I just happened to, I didn't listen to the song. I just kind of started picking on the guitar. And I found the chords, that intro, the acoustic intro, and I found that.
That's cool.
All by myself.
It's so weird when you finally actually do some of that, because like, did you ever feel like there was a point in your life where, I mean, you're self-expressed, not necessarily a music theory guy, but I feel like when I learned music theory and started learning like, oh, here's the patterns and stuff, it kind of like took me out at the knees. It was like, oh, now these are the rules I have to follow, and it made me less flexible to trying to play by ear and figuring out what other people
It kind of
doing.
makes you feel like a trap door opened up below you. Like there's just so much, where do I go next? And a lot of guitar players will actually talk about that. Is plateauing.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you feel like you can't learn anymore. But the second you do learn something else, you want to try to employ that as much as you can in your playing. The big thing that Richie... like bending and stuff and the little trills and stuff. A lot of people, I guess, will use more than one finger on the string when they're bending.
Okay.
I watched Eric Clapton and I just use one finger.
Yeah.
And I don't know other guitar players that just use one finger when they bend, or because you take for granted some things.
Yeah.
That everybody might do the same thing as you, but then again, you had a different path getting to where you did than they did. So it's just little things like that, because especially in my drumming. I'm not a great drummer by any means. I mean, I can go to jam night and point out 10 people who are better than I am. But
better than me.
but I worked. I worked fine for Road Hard because I could get enough of the song right, but I never learned like rudiments and stuff.
Yep.
And if you talk to Greg or Jake Merritt, I had a conversation with them about it at one point. Like I didn't go to my lessons in school, so therefore I didn't learn the way I was supposed to. So in reality, it makes drumming harder for me.
Yeah.
Being able to like lead and stuff with your hands. And so I have to work harder than probably another drummer would at doing some of the things that I've had to do.
So did you play drums in high school and stuff?
I did play drums in high school. I played drums in high school jazz band and marching band. I was a bass drum player, but then I managed to switch. I don't know if I conned my way into it, but being able to play bass for marching band.
What?
So I didn't even have to march. And I think that was like my junior and senior year. I just got to stay up front. And I played the tuba part on bass.
That's cool. So you're talking like field marching then?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Play the tuba part on bass.
And I think a lot of high schools actually do that. They'll have a tuba player, but then, somebody who, like if they've got enough drummers, like, can you do anything else? Or you would maybe be a flag or whatever.
Yep.
So that's what I ended up doing. And most of it was because all of the drum stuff that we had was ancient. And so all the padding was like gone in those harnesses. So you just have straight up aluminum digging into your shoulders all the time. My back still hurts from that. So
I'm sure they've upgraded by now.
Oh, I know they have. But and I'd play guitar and jazz band, and I had those moments. So coming by feeling inferior, or like you were saying, imposter syndrome.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Feeling
Thank
that
you
way,
for commenting on the video, by the way.
Right.
I appreciate that a lot.
So you can come about that honestly. So when you're first starting out, obviously there's other people who are playing who are going to be better than you. I went to school with a kid who was just phenomenal. And he had, like a Parker Fly. You ever seen one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
with the
the goofy headstock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like just a finger
Yeah,
hanging
and
off of it.
there's no dot markers on the fretboard because it's like futuristic.
Yep.
I haven't seen one of those guitars since, but he was just mind-blowingly good. So I was in jazz band too, and I was the guy that had to sit in back with the little tiny amp that the band instructor's like, "Can you turn down a little bit more?" I'm like, "You basically don't want me to play. You want me to look like I'm playing."
Yep.
So I kind of started with that.
Oh,
like
wow.
just feeling like I was never going to be good enough. And I don't know if that feeling just sort of hung with me. So everything I do, I mean, accolades and stuff and any kind of praise, like it's always been rough for me because it's just like, thank you. I can accept that. But in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, no, I have so much more to learn. I could be so much better than I am.
Yeah, it's so tough to take a compliment because I almost want to just be like, no, and then just like walk away.
And there might have been times in the past, like if we had a bad show, if I, brought the wrong guitar to the gig, not thinking, because I played a Strat for the longest time that I'd had as a Christmas present, my first real electric guitar. Before that, it was like an old Harmony from the 60s that I played. And I brought something that I wasn't familiar with, and I messed up. And everyone's like, well, that was really good. I'm like, you weren't watching what I was doing, man, because that was terrible.
Oh, man.
So, and I've learned over time to not be like that, because that's rude, for one. And it doesn't really help get you out of that mood.
Okay, this is good. I'm gonna like walk away from this like therapy. I think because it took me a while, as dumb as it sounds, to realize that it actually was rude.
Right.
If somebody's like, "Great show," and you're just like, screw you, buddy, or whatever.
Yeah, it was
like,
terrible.
It doesn't do any good to them.
Right.
They're not gonna come watch you again. They'll never say good job ever again.
Right. It really turns people away when you act like that.
Yeah, even if you're doing it out of like humility,
Right.
They don't understand that.
Right. They don't, because they don't know. Just the gymnastics between your fingers and your brain of what you're trying to do up there. And, but it can be, you're having a good night and all of a sudden you hit a bum note. That can really stick in your craw.
Yeah.
And it can stay there for a while.
Yep.
So if you have a hard time letting things go, it might not be the best thing to do to become a musician.
Yeah, a live musician probably.
And I think, but that's also a lot of the things that keep people in their bedrooms instead of coming out and doing what they do.
That's true.
Zach recently brought his sons with him. The first time was his son that plays the saxophone.
Okay.
And so I'd kind of changed the way I thought about things. And I was like, you know what? Even if he doesn't do well, and I know that probably a lot of people feel this way, you still have to be like, good job.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like you did a good job, you did a great job.
Yeah.
Because it's going to just build the confidence of that person.
I feel that way because it's just like even if it's like, okay, let's just say, good job coming out to a jam night and playing.
Right.
Like that's literally more or less what I want to tell people. Because
that can be a mountain in itself.
Absolutely.
Just getting the mental agility to think that you could do something like that and be able to navigate it all right. At first, I was terrified when I would go to jam nights. My hands would get sweaty. I still get kind of sweaty when I sing. I do still have nerves. I don't know if anybody sees it, but I also don't do very good at remembering lyrics, and that's why I always have my phone there.
I'm so bad
but
with lyrics.
At least I'm trying. And at this point, I think I'm to the age where if it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. I just need to own it.
Yeah.
So, whatever you think of my singing, and I know I try. Songs that I feel like I can sing at home, I'll throw them up there. Like one night I was going to do Keep On Rockin' in the Free World. And right away I'm like, no. And my dad recorded that and he put it on Facebook. And I was like, why did you do that?
But he probably thought it was great.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's amazing. If you've been in the band long enough and you have played with the same people long enough and you guys know you had a bad night, the crowd doesn't know you had a bad night.
No.
Because they don't know much about it as you do. So, and I've realized that playing with Richie, because, we've had some rough times and everyone's like, oh my God, that was great. That was so great. I'm like thinking to myself, no, but thank you.
But there's also the thing where like that's a band where like there's nobody else really. I mean, there's a couple
You'd
people
be
in the
surprised
state
how many
doing.
people actually do that, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is it just the whole fact that it's not like modern rock and roll that we just don't see it
Well,
as much, or
it,
what?
it does still kind of tie into like rockabilly and stuff. Rockabilly is still one of those, I don't know, it's not as above ground as it used to be. It's kind of back to underground, but there's a lot of people out there that do the rockabilly thing. If you look online, there are other people that do the same thing in the state. Johnny Rogers is the guy who comes, I think he lives in Illinois, not too far away, but he'll do like tours,
Oh, cool.
and he'll call on the people that he knows because he does the pickup band thing. He'll call people, hey, I'm coming around again. You can be available? That kind of stuff.
That's fun. That's fun. Oh man, yeah. I don't know what really like what the thing was that made me get comfortable playing in front of people. Really, like I played in high school. The very first thing we ever played was like for a pre-prom, and like of course some of our parents are out there videotaping or whatever. You can hear people audibly laughing at us louder than you can hear us playing at times. And that's also just high school kids being high school kids, late 90s, early 2000s. So that's just kind of how that works.
No, yeah, but you're gonna go through some experiences like that at some point. Even now when we play, the people who don't really like the music that we're playing, you can kind of see them like whisper to each other. And so you like, obviously you're 20, you don't get it. So
this isn't for you.
yeah, this is not.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize that too. Not all music is made for me.
Right. Well, and we do have, varying ages, and especially when we go to the surf and we play. There's a lot of younger people, a lot more than I ever thought I would see at the surf or something like that. And they make it a yearly thing. It's like a pilgrimage for the winter dance party. Yeah. Because of the Buddy Holly, all that stuff. Yep. So there are people that come from England for that, and they have been since the 80s, I think, since they started the winter dance party.
That would make me so nervous.
You know what? I'm used to it at this point. See, this is my thing. A big crowd is fine. I'm terrified of a little crowd. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. It's like singing for a few people rather than a bunch of people. Yeah. Because you know that those few people are focused on you. Yep. You look out to a bunch of people, they could be looking anywhere. They could be looking over here, over there.
Yep, talking to their buddies, having a beer, going, whatever it is.
I don't like to make eye contact with people in the crowd either.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I will say, like, sometimes the small crowd is more inviting. So, like, one of the first times I would say, it wasn't until I was like 27 that I played guitar again. I played in a punk band with Clint Wheelman, and we played down in Des Moines. Super easy. Nobody down here knows me. Yeah, I don't care. When I'm done, I get to get in my car and drive home.
And I think I've been exposed to that more. Like I might see these people again, and then in fact, in the 8 years that I've done that with him, we'll see the same people in the same towns kind of come up to us. So there are some people that you are going to see again. Yeah, but enough time has passed. It's like, okay, fine. They like the band. They like Richie. I'll talk to him. And, I've made some friends that way too. Yeah. That I wouldn't otherwise. Because, I don't know. I think some people might think I'm a little antisocial.
Yeah, me too.
But, growing up, ADHD will do that to you. You're not always just immediately receptive to new people. True. In situations. So, but I've really kind of forced myself to do this, be able to do it. Because it's something that I love to do. And I can't imagine life not playing.
True. Yeah. I mean, I think about that every now and then. Like, it was recently Jesse Wilson's birthday. I mean, we're a couple weeks off, but happy birthday, Jesse. Without you around for the last 5 years, it would have been pretty boring for me. So thank you. But yeah, I just think about people like him, like Clint Riedel. Jeremy Ober was like honestly one of the first people. I went to like 2 or 3 Barnum Jams, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, but sometimes the Barnum Jams, there's like 9 people in the whole bar. Right. And I'm still too nervous to play for anyone. And Ober's like, nobody's here. And I'm like, well, there are people here. He's like, they can't play the guitar. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll get up and try a couple, So.
And you know what? You bring that up, and I feel like, I don't know what Jeremy's method to his madness is when he puts people together up there. But I know that when it was still at Patty's in the rock room, that I'd kind of get lumped with these people. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but people that just didn't have ideas. Of what you could play.
A lot of the song gets over and you're all looking at each other.
Yeah. So I would end up having to be that guy just to think of, okay, this is another song we can do. So I had been put in that position enough that I'm like, you know what? I should be armed with something that I can bring along with me, no matter who I'm playing with, can pick up and come along with me. And so I think that in a way makes you better at what you do. If you have, because I know you have your one song. If you were to, seriously, if you were to just kind of go through some stuff and just figure out something that's got a few chords to it and then just bring it, because, there's the staples. Can't you see?
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of. Yep.
Stuff like that.
But again, some of it's just lyrics. I hate lyrics. I used to play. I used to play a lot of shows. I used to do a lot of different stuff at jam nights. Honestly, the reason I quit doing a lot of different stuff is because I got shushed by somebody at jam night. They walked up and grabbed the mic. They were wasted, but they were just quits. Everybody stopped and just stopped the whole, just derailed everything. And I just got mad and yelled at them and left.
But that random act right there,
it just tanked me.
Yeah, gut punch. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
And but there's a few songs I used to sing. But the first time I ever went to the Pee Wee's jam, the jam at Pee Wee's, was it Patty's?
It was Patty's after that.
Yeah. So it was Patty's. The very first song I played was a ZZ Top song, LaGrange.
Yeah.
There's 2 verses to it.
Right.
They're not big.
Yeah.
I forgot the second verse. So guess what? We're doing the first verse again. Yeah. And I don't know.
So there's different people that can handle that situation in different ways that I've noticed. When I was in Road Hard, John would not always remember the words. And I wasn't paying enough attention to notice that. So if we were doing give me 3 steps, you didn't know all the words. I didn't even know it. He would just phonetically make the sound. And he somehow covered his ass with that. And I'm just he'd tell me, he's like, I got to look up these words. I'm like, you don't know them? We've only been doing this song for 4 years. What do you mean you don't know the words?
Dude, I did that backup singing with Jesse for too long until I finally he did call me out on one song. He's like, I don't think you're singing the right words. And I was just oh. So I had to go look it up. And now I'm a little bit better at it. But yeah.
And I've never been a good one to try to cover my ass on that. So if I have to go back to a verse that I knew, that I already did, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did with but LaGrange is just okay, 2 verses and then 5 minutes of soloing,
right?
So
and there's nothing wrong with finding a song where you can do that too, as long as you're getting the party started.
Yep.
And then you can carry on from there. That's kind of what you got to do, because Zach would be like, well, let's do this song at jam night. I'm like, there's too many chords in that. Yeah. There's not a guarantee that everybody's gonna know that song. A couple of ones that seem to go off fairly nicely were Don't You Forget About Me, from the Breakfast Club.
Yep.
And a couple others that we've done in the past. I'll always pull out Already Gone by the Eagles, just because that's one that I had done in other bands, and I can remember all the words to that one. So, but other than that, I bring my phone holder with me, and I used to think, God, that looks kind of cheesy, but you know what? The more people that you see play, they're not always going to remember the words. I know there for a while, at least Kirkhart would have a tablet with him that had words on it. I'm like, I don't need to be ashamed of this.
I got better things to do with my life than remember 8 bazillion different lyrics to 8 bazillion different songs.
Right, especially if these songs are, Jeremy was giving me so much shit about having the words printed out for Come and Get Your Love.
Okay.
Because, at the end of the song, it's Come and Get Your Love, come and get... Yeah. So it just repeats. And so that one sheet he picked up, and he's like, I'm going to hang this in my bathroom.
Dude, that is so funny.
And I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that, but you go right ahead. You know what? I felt like I needed it. And it worked out,
Man.
Having the words there, as a backup, anyway.
Yeah. I would need that, too. I was never really one to make fun of people, because back in the day, it was the monitor... was actually disguised. It was just like a teleprompter, basically, and a monitor. I would need that,
Right.
I just can't do it. I've never been one to turn my nose up at people that use a phone to look up lyrics.
Right. Even the big acts who have done the same songs numerous times. I've even seen at times, songs that we do consistently with Richie. And he'd been doing them before I joined him. If you're just in a weird mood or you're not paying attention, things can slip up in your brain, and you might forget a verse and the song too soon, or you might repeat yourself.
Yep.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah. There's an obvious excuse for this one, but I remember seeing Ozzy live at Budokan. You can see clear as day he's got giant teleprompters in front of him. Okay, it's Ozzy, I get it. He probably needs them, but still they need it. People need those,
Well, and it really depends on what your focus is when you're playing, too.
True.
And it can just totally take you away from that. Because there have been a number of times, even songs that I did repeatedly, that I'm up there, I'm just getting into it. I'm like, oh, God. what's the first word.
Yeah, you just need the first word.
Yep.
And you're good to go.
And then you can go from there. Yep.
It's almost like an actor being like, line. Like, it's like the same thing.
Yep.
So, okay, this is something I also want to like talk about a little bit. I made a podcast a few weeks ago. You commented on it. I absolutely loved the comment. Thirst for knowledge was like one of the things you said. Like working to get to where you are, to be who you are, learning to trust your abilities, kind of some of the stuff we covered in this. What point in time did you realize you're like a tinkerer with your guitar? I mean, we had talked a little bit about it, but like, did you just not want to take your guitar to the guitar shop, or was the closest one in Fort Dodge so you didn't want to drive? Or like, how did that work out?
So when that came down to it, I mean, the whole luthier aspect, like fretwork and stuff, I've got some cheap guitars that I've kind of practiced doing that kind of stuff on. I mean, Riemann's, but then they have to send it somewhere. I know Greg is...
He can do some of it.
He's gotten pretty competent with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Him and I would talk a lot about some of that stuff. And I know that I think Troy was bringing him guitars to modify and stuff. And at that point, he'd ask me questions because at that point I'd already taken a guitar and swapped out a pickup. When you put it in and it works, you're just like, yeah. Oh, it makes you want to do it more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd always kind of done that stuff. If I could ever fix something, whether or not I knew what I was doing, that was a question that even I couldn't answer. But once you got it working, and you got it working right, you feel just that feeling of like you did it. You did it, and it was all you. You did it all by yourself.
Yeah, using like common deductive things like, oh, this wire probably should be over here.
Well, and like with guitar amps, if anybody ever wants to get into guitar amps, the easiest thing to figure out has got to be like 50s and 60s Fender amps, because they're, along with a schematic, is also a layout of the chassis that tells you where everything is at. So it's almost like Legos for adults.
Yeah.
And they can kill you if you touch them wrong.
That is true. That's the one thing I was worried about. So I feel like some of the stuff is kind of like cars. Like I can fix cars and stuff, but like recently my CV joint went out of my car. I don't have tools to fix that in the time and pay. I'll pay someone to. So some stuff I'll take elsewhere to get fixed.
And that's kind of the school where I'm at too. So when I got my first car, I want to know what makes this thing tick. I want to be, it wasn't always a want to be able to, but it was a kind of a necessity to learn to be able to, okay, I can change my own oil if I don't want to have to pay an exuberant amount to get it changed somewhere. I also don't have to make an appointment. I can just do it when I'm ready to.
Bingo.
When it came to like doing tune-up with spark plugs and wires, just doing it. I even got into carburetors and stuff, how those work, because I'm a car person too.
Yeah.
And, I've learned a lot over the years. And, sometimes your past experiences will drive what you end up doing in the future as far as that goes. So I had a 72 Cutlass. It wasn't the greatest looking car, but it could have been something. That was my first real experience with having to work on drum brakes. So I got that. I swapped out the points distributor for an HEI. Still couldn't get it running. I knew it was the carburetor. At that point, I was broke as shit and couldn't buy, an Edelbrock to throw on in place of the stock carb. So, and I've done U-joints and all that stuff. And my aim is mostly classic cars because those are just the easiest. You don't have to worry about computers and stuff. But my Yukon that I drove here in, in the last year, I put in a new radiator. I've had to put in a new starter. I've had to do a water pump, all that kind of stuff. But if it gets to the point to where, say, the brake lines that are like right up against the frame rail and you have no room, I don't have a hoist. I'm not even going to mess with that. I'll take it to somebody.
Yeah.
I know how to do the work, but I just do not have the patience to lay under there with a wrench going like this, a quarter turn at a time.
Exactly.
Let somebody else who gets paid to do that.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially some of that's just expertise though too. It's like if they've got all the knowledge, the tools, they've done this before a million times. Like you said, they can pick it up instead of laying in the rocks.
And I know for sure that it's not just all just a bunch of roses being a mechanic either.
No kidding.
I worked at O'Reilly's and to deliver parts, and I saw a guy throw a wrench. He was working on a Camaro or something, and he couldn't figure something out. It was pissing him off, and he just takes this big old wrench. I don't even know what size it was, just heaves it at a wall. And I'm just like, Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, when you get those tight spaces and something won't do it, you know you swear at your vehicle when you're trying to work on it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
I mean, that's no different than plumbing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those trades type things are.
But I feel like it's
that.
just more rewarding, you know, cars, you know, you get out of it what you put into it.
Absolutely.
And I've done engine swap in a vehicle before. I've had to change transmissions more than once. So
Jeez. Okay, that's way deeper than I'm.
Well, and it's out of necessity. Like if I'm working and I had like a 92 half ton, it had some weird options. It was a V6 with a 5-speed, 4-wheel drive. Okay. It was a weird one to me, but I had to do some work on that after a day of work. I popped a brake line while I was working. So first thing I did when I got home was replace a brake line.
Oh, wow.
Because I needed it for the next day. So it was just a matter of necessity. And you lay in the snow, you do what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you can't always take time off of work to get it done.
Yeah, like what is your mindset to this tinkering? Is it literally just like, I'll do it because it just needs to get done? Or is it
partly?
Or is there like, this is going to sound really, really pompous of me, but some of me thinks like, well, this can be done. And if they can do it, that means I can do it. I feel like I'm intelligent enough to figure this stuff out.
I don't know if it seemed like such ego driven. I don't know if that's kind of what you were getting at. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. Well,
I mean, it has to be able to get done. I feel competent, right?
I like things to be complete. I like it. So it also depends on who you were to take your car to. Because, you know, a lot of shops will have a reputation for things. Or if you call them and you're like, hey, when can you get me in? Oh, a week from now. Well, that's not going to work.
That's not good. Yeah.
So, I mean, that can drive you too. Like, I need to get this done and I need to get it done now. So it looks like I'm going to do some learning right now. And you know what? For most things anymore, you can just type it in on YouTube. How do I replace this brake caliper? Because I've never seen one like it. Or what's the deal with the rear brakes on a Chrysler Town and Country? Why do they always seem like they seize up? And, you know, you learn a lot of things about cars and the basic functions of cars that way. I'll dig into about anything I find online. There's a number of YouTube channels that I watch. One is a guy out of California who fixes old TVs, radios. He'll do transistor radios, you know, things that people throw away.
Absolutely.
At this point. But some of the TVs and stuff he'll repair and they'll use as props on TV shows. He's had people contact him about that.
Oh, cool.
There's the Guitologist on YouTube. He would do amp repairs and stuff.
All right.
I go down rabbit holes like you wouldn't believe. Like one time I thought I was going to get into watchmaking.
Dude, okay, don't get me started on this. The watch repair guy from Seattle.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's always got like a Rolex or something on there, and he just makes it look so fun.
Dude, I want to do that so bad.
And I started looking at like because he's got like tool sets
and kits
to start off with.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, $300 for tools. I have too many interests at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's always taken me long enough to, you know, I've got a soldering iron. I only recently got a scope to be able to look at.
Okay.
For some electronic things, and it kind of helped me get to a point where I turned this little, I don't know, I didn't send you the video, but there's this old 60s Zenith radio, and I figured out where the tuner connects to the amplifier part of the radio, and I hooked my guitar up to it, and I played through it.
I read a book once that said that's how some of the first guitar amps were made, was they were like, well, they already have these things that are made for radios, let's just pour it into them with a little jack.
I mean, because a lot of them would have like a phono input. Like some of those stand-up, you know, console radios would have like a phono in there, and people found out that, well, if it's got a magnetic pickup on it, you can run that through there too.
That's cool.
Because I want to say that magnetic pickups have been around for a very long time.
Yeah, like the 30s or something. It's like a long time.
And, you know, like if you watch It Might Get Loud, you ever seen that with Jack White, Jimmy Page, and The Edge from U2?
Nope.
They just talk about stuff. And it's just this long kind of a movie thing. It starts off with Jack White. There's this 2x4, 2 nails. He gets some wire. He wraps it around both of the nails. He puts a pickup on there. He gets a slide, and he starts playing it. So, but that, you know, ingenuity and stuff like that, the people who make this cigar box guitars and stuff like that, I was even tempted. Zach inherited some instruments from his grandma, and one of them was a mandolin. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Learning some mandolin chords. And I'm like, you should really try to learn how to, because I got a banjo too.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't mess with it a whole lot, but I got to the point to where I could strum songs on it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I can't do the finger roll.
Finger rolls.
Yeah, I can't do that. So I'm no Earl Scruggs.
Yeah, dude. I've banjoed. It's one of those like secret instruments. Like if I could go back and do it all differently, I think I'd pick up the banjo.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It helps you develop like a finger picking technique, which kind of changes the game. You know, if you're used to just flat picking.
Yeah.
Also, on that note, like when I play bass, I've had comments made that I don't play bass like a normal bass player does.
Okay.
Usually, you know, you'll with a pick or with your fingers, you know, like these 3 fingers. These fingers are kind of dumb.
Okay.
So it's either just the one, or I'll just use like a
the
hook.
I don't know what they call it.
It's not slapping, but I'll use that. I won't slap, but I'll pluck with my thumb.
Wow. Okay.
And that helped me because I was always had a problem with bass and like speed and like faster songs. And I just developed just out of just playing every weekend with Richie. That was another thing, having to learn how to sing and play bass at the same time.
That would be
oh my God,
way tougher than playing guitar and singing.
So
would you agree it's tougher than playing guitar and singing?
It's so much harder than playing guitar because there's some rhythm to what you're doing. There's not always a rhythm to the bass part and the vocal. They do not exist in harmony together.
No.
Because you might be playing something that's descending, but you're singing up. So you have to, when you're first doing it, you have to find one to focus on, and you're going to choose the instrument instead of the vocal part.
Yep.
So when we initially made that personnel change and I had to play bass, I was like, oh my God, I am not going to be able to do this. So for the first so many shows, I just sweat bullets. And I'm just like, I can't make this look like a plane crash.
Yep.
So I would focus on the bass and then I would, work the vocals in. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. It got to a point to where I can sing and play at the same time. I'm no Geddy Lee, but, I'm a lot closer to being a Paul McCartney than I was. Mm-hmm. So, and I kind of look back on some videos and I'm like, when did I learn how to do that?
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, well, first of all, you sort of memorize the song and you've definitely used your muscle memory to memorize the bass part. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that really made it difficult was for a while we tried to still be a 4-piece for some shows. So I had to know the guitar parts and the bass parts for all of these songs, depending on what combination we were in. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, it's difficult playing the same songs going back and forth because you're used to, as a bass player, having your hand on a different portion of the neck than guitar, depending on the chords and stuff that you're playing. So that would really throw me off. So I talked to him and I'm like, we just should stay a 3-piece. Yep. If we have to be a 4-piece at some point, if we know a keyboard player, and we'd have the keyboard player. That way I don't have to switch instruments. I mean, I'm capable of doing it. It's just really, it's mentally taxing in a way that you wouldn't think it would be.
Yeah.
But when you go from every weekend, like playing bass, and all of a sudden you got to play guitar, you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then you still have to sing on top of that. Uh-huh. It's just remembering where your hand needs to be.
Dude, there's times where and I will play bass. I'm not a great bass player. I can play the bass like a guitar player does, but there's times at jam nights where I'll start to fall into the groove, and then you're like, oh, now I'm starting to fit the bass rhythm, and then you go to sing, and you're like, I can't sing while I'm doing it. I get it. It's really difficult, and if I can do it, I know that most anybody else can do it. Because when you're forced into a situation where you have to, rise to the occasion, you're eventually going to get there. Uh-huh. And that's just how it happened with me. And I feel even more these days, because that's kind of become my main instrument is the bass, that I'm more proficient on that than I am guitar. Mm-hmm. But it just depends on what you're doing at the time. If I were in another band, it probably wouldn't be that way at all. Mm-hmm. I know that I only could get so proficient on drums, but you know what? I made it sound passable. Yeah. I never got like, you suck, or what, you should work on that. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever told me. And Richie, he still tells me that I think, I probably shouldn't say that, that I was his favorite drummer to play with, because I would listen to the song and try to play it exactly like the song. Because that's what we kind of go for, is the, because you hear a lot of that stuff like re-recorded in the 80s. Yep. You'd see a lot of 50s bands like Little Darlings and stuff. You probably don't know what that is. Nope. But it was a live venue, and I think it was in Florida or something like that. Okay. And so you'd hear like synths in place of strings, and it just made it sound not very good. Yeah, not the same.
But I always played what the song was supposed to have in a way that really kind of clicked with him. But, there's certain songs, like when I'm playing bass on something, that it can get, if it's like, dun, 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 it can be boring.
Yep.
And I went through that with Road Hard, too. We'd play an extended version of Bad to the Bone.
Okay.
And so that's dun, 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 dun. And we would be at, what is that bar in Badger?
Is that Knuckleheads?
Yes, Knuckleheads. And where they had the bands play, there's that door that goes outside. I'd literally walk outside still playing. I just talk to people while I'm out there because I'm just like, they don't need me right now.
Yeah,
I got
hilarious.
this.
That's so funny. I do also we're getting pretty close to the end of this, but I do also want to say the whole tinkering thing.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I saw some videos online. People are just like, well, if you have a broken, it's people that are just basically buying like a broken Nintendo Switch or a broken whatever, and they're like, well, let's just see if we can fix it, And
There's one guy that does that, especially that I just started binging on. And, he went through every handheld system that Nintendo ever had. And I'd seen enough of the videos kind of diagnosing the problems. And that one, I'm like, okay, I feel confident that I can do this. So I just found the cheapest Game Boy Color on eBay that I could. And it was you never find them in a buy it now. A lot of that stuff it's always an auction. So I was lucky to get it for like $30-40.
Oh, cool.
And I got it, and it had the battery cover on it. I'm like, okay. So me and my son went downstairs. I'm like, all right, we're going to take this apart. You're going to clean the buttons. You're going to clean the cover and everything. And I'm going to tackle this circuit board. And I'm not going to say that I didn't have to source Google for some questions that I had.
Yeah.
Or kind of where to start. But that's how you learn. And, I did everything it told me, and I got to the end, and it was working. I had to solder in a wire because the trace had broken. And then when I put that cartridge in there and that game came on, I was like, yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
And the game was Dr. Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Literally one of my favorite games ever. I have like an emulator, and like on the night before Thanksgiving, when I was still young enough and all my friends would come back to town and party or whatever, I'd be like, come over to my house, let's play Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
And they would come back after I hadn't seen them for years.
Oh, yeah.
We'd play Dr. Mario on my emulator.
The game for me like that was one that Zach had. It was Super Smash Brothers on N64.
Okay.
That was always our get-together game.
Nice.
Yep, I loved playing that game. But also my NES that I'd had since, my parents got it in, I think, 88 or something like that, 89.
Wow.
You know how the blowing on the cartridge?
Yep.
That doesn't work. That makes things worse.
Yeah, it does, actually.
So,
it temporarily better for a second. But
right. Well, just because it kind of cleans the contacts, but it'll make them more corroded over time.
Yep.
So I found a video explaining how to permanently fix that, or at least fix it for a long term. I tore the damn thing apart. I took the 72-pin connector off, boiled it in distilled water, took a pick, bent each one of those pins back down. Every game I stick in there starts right away. I don't have the blinking light or nothing like that.
That's crazy.
And I've always been into that kind of stuff. So that's just one of the many things. God, I was into like watching photography channels on YouTube.
Okay.
I think it was more for the equipment. Like I learned about Kodachrome.
Okay.
The film and stuff,
Yeah.
and why it'll never make a comeback because it's just so expensive, the chemicals and stuff. I got into that for a while. I bought a Polaroid camera, and I'm like, yeah, I need to start doing this. I bought an old VHS video camera, Magnavox, off of the Goodwill
Okay.
app. And I, cleaned that thing up, got it working, and I recorded one of our family Christmases with it, like it was 1990.
Dude, that's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude. Think about like blending technology and doing that, but then like up converting it into HD, and you could have like a retro modern music video or something.
This is the first time I've ever been on a podcast. I didn't know, I don't know how easy, I guess you'd say it is. I don't know what you have to get, but I've watched a number of yours with the guests and stuff. And,
Thank you.
You've got it down.
Yeah, I like to.
I mean, you don't have your like fancy sparkly backdrops and stuff, but really, who needs that? Because it's the focus is the conversation.
Yes.
Right.
If I could, I would still just do audio only. But I do.
Right.
I also do this like professionally at a different location that we have all that stuff.
Right, well,
camera, nice backdrop, everything.
And that's why I came here, because it sounded more appealing to be able to do this in person than it did through like Zoom or something. Or
Yeah.
because we get to know each other a little bit better in that regard. You don't have to worry about any kind of lag on either end. So I wanted to just do it that way.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit more genuine, I guess, to me.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I've thought about starting a YouTube channel in some way, form, but I just don't know what to do. It seems like everything is kind of farmed out.
Yeah, but...
Because I could do small engine, but then again, I have so many interests that, like, could I just focus on one thing?
Well, maybe you don't just focus on one thing. Maybe you're just like, it's the adventures of Justin Cramer, and this week I'm fixing, a Briggs and Stratton 2-stroke or whatever. You know
what? I've been in that game too. I've got lawnmowers at my house. Oh, Schwinn bicycles from the 50s and 60s. I've got those at my house too.
I saw a picture of one on your Facebook, and I was like, I wonder if he's got a bicycle guy too.
Yep.
So this you tinkering is like everything. There's no limits to it.
I mean, if it moves, I want to know how it works. Pretty much. Motorcycles, I was watching the channels, like the old carbureted motorcycles, learning how to do that kind of stuff. God, I can't even tell you all the YouTube rabbit holes that I've gone down. 50s and 60s cars, can we drive this car 1,000 miles? It's been in a junkyard for 20, 30 years. Oh. I love those.
Yep.
I love watching that. And, one of the guys that I watch was actually from Belmont. I think he just turned 30, so he's about 10 years younger than us. His name is Kevin Brown. So if you're into that kind of thing, I suggest checking out Junkyard Digs on YouTube.
Junkyard Digs.
Digs.
I got a lot of stuff written down here.
I mean, I can lead you down so many different paths.
We'll start here. I think I got 6 or 7 different things to check out. So, I actually had a really great time sitting down talking with you.
So did I.
Have we not covered something? Is there something that we should cover that we didn't, or do we just want to save it for another episode?
Yeah, we could save it for another episode.
Awesome.
I'm not really sure where to go from here.
Dude,
it's been a long day. We just started. If you didn't know before, I used to work as a contractor for MediaCom in Fort Dodge.
Okay.
I ended up having to work down in Des Moines because they eliminated the need for contractors here. But now we're working for Metronet, which is a fiber optic company. We just started doing berries. Burying the lines.
Yep.
So we're the crew that does that now. It just started that today. It's been a nightmare.
Oh, wow.
So if I seem a little frazzled, it's probably because of that.
Had a long day and then drove here and did this.
Yeah, and on the way here, I stopped to check out an amp that somebody has for sale. So,
ooh, did you get it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm planning on it though. I'm waiting for tax money to come back.
Nice. Oh man, that's so fun. It never ceases to amaze me that people will take time out of their day to come here and talk with me, and I really do appreciate it, Justin.
I think Chip mentioned it a long time ago, and I'm just like, I'm waiting. I didn't want to bother you about it because I don't know how this all works out, but I'm glad that you reached out.
That bugged me. I don't know.
That's fine.
I'm not always the best at communicating, though, too. Sometimes people, that firsthand.
Well, I'm not one to kind of put myself out there to try to promote myself by any means. I mean... I'm just glad it worked out.
I think some of it was just like, I saw what you were doing online, and I was just like, this is intriguing. And then you started commenting on my stuff, and it's like, all right, let's sit down and talk.
Honestly, I wondered if that comment on the video was going to be a catalyst for this, and it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it did.
So I feel like you're a souped-up version of me, and I absolutely love it.
You know what?
There's like all the good stuff in me, if it was just amplified, it's basically you.
And there's nothing wrong with having multiple interests. Part of it is being ADHD like I am, and you see a squirrel, you just find something new to follow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm excited to see what's next. So when the next thing happens, hit me up. Let's start talking about what you're doing next.
Oh, I will.
It's you've got such a fun life, and there's so much more to go still.
I do have to say this real quick. If anybody wants to start an 80s band, I've been inspired. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube video of the yacht rock band that was playing in Cedar Rapids. They do like Firefall and all that kind of stuff from the 70s, like Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
And it sounds just like it. And I saw that band and I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that, but 80s.
Okay. So are you talking like 80s hair metal or just like 80s pop type stuff?
I would say 80s new wave.
Okay.
Talking Heads, Blondie, anything from there.
Ooh.
Yeah. Even some of the little synthier stuff.
I feel like we need some of that. There's enough country bands around. Sorry, country bands. I'm in a country band, whatever. But
I've noticed that country has overtaken everything.
Yeah,
I'm a ride or die rock and roll.
I get it too, but sometimes you gotta go where the people are actually gonna watch you.
You know what? Blues is also another good one.
I love me some blues.
Oh yeah,
I lean super hard to blues. But,
okay.
Justin, dude, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I feel like this is a good episode because in retrospect, it made me think that, he and I kind of have the same interests or the same hobbies, or we kind of do the same thing, but he goes about doing the things that he does, and he has such a positive mindset about how he's doing it and why he's doing it, or how he can get things done. Or, you know, some of it is like, there's a necessity, I need to get this done, or I need to figure out a way to do this myself because nobody else is here to show me. But, you know, at the same time, it's just kind of it was refreshing to hear, you know, his take on some of the things. And it's just kind of cool to see that he's out there, like, he's a car guy, does guitar stuff, electronics, plays most of the instruments, just, you know, because why not, you know? And I feel like that's such a good story. Played with a lot of musicians, a lot of bands, and, you know, it's crazy that our paths haven't really crossed as much as, you know, they could have. It's just kind of cool to sit down and talk with him. First time I've ever really talked to him. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you check him out with Richie Lee and the Fabulous 50s. You know, it's going to be super cool to check that out. I know that he plays at the jam nights on third Thursdays, so if you want to see him come play at a jam night, he always kind of busts out something different. Most shows he does something a little bit different, but yeah, very talented guy. Really kind of cool stuff he's got going on, so check him out online. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Justin, for joining me. Thank you to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association, audiblefarm.com for basically everything, at Audible Farm, all social medias. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you guys, and I will check you later. Peace.